two neon lights behind me?
No, nope, perfect. You are looking good. So joining me right now, of course, is the former WWE Intercontinental Champion, former three-time WWE Tag Team Champion, Mr. Jacques Rougeau. Jacques, how you doing?
John, how are you doing today?
Very good. What's going on in your world? I know you are very, very busy.
Yeah, that's an understatement. But very, very busy. Yes, I am. But it's all for the good things that are coming up. I do a lot of personal appearances, celebrity golf tournaments, but Wrestling Academy is taking pretty much all my time now, setting everything up, and it's a busy time right now. Let's say.
Tell us more about the Wrestling Academy, because I know you got some big stuff coming up in September.
Yeah, it's just amazing. It keeps on getting bigger and better every year, and this year it's my third year, and the first year we had $4,000 or $5,000 winners, and then last year we had three $10,000 winners, and this year we got four $10,000 winners, two men
Wow.
and two women, and we also have a trip to Japan, a week of training with Kyushu Pro Wrestling, and then. Sonny Ono booked me with that, so the winners are going to go spend a week in Japan, and then they're going to go spend a week in Mexico also with Big Lucha and Banditos Gym. So, what an opportunity! A great opportunity for Canadian wrestlers, and very, very excited about that.
Yeah, that is awesome. Have you ever noticed that Canada always has good wrestlers? Have you? Is that something you've noticed?
Well, yes. There's talent pretty much everywhere, to be honest with you, around the world. Like wrestling right now is so popular, but Canadian talent is awesome. The inscriptions this year just came. There's so many inscriptions that came. We had to choose only 34 out of about near 80 inscriptions that we had, and we're talking about good talent. And so it was very hard. We had to choose like 14 women and 20 men. And the talent is just amazing. I'm looking at all the talent that's participating this year compared to last year. The caliber is so much stronger this year than last year and the year before. I think the word got out that Jacques Rougeau is really paying the guys, and the trips are really coming true, and the tryouts with AEW are coming true, and so everything we've been doing is happening. So I think that the ones that didn't believe in the project, they all started subscribing this year, and it was so hard to choose because we have 10 provinces that are participating, and out west there's so much talent, and even in the middle there, Manitoba, Saskatchewan, and Ontario. It's just amazing, and then the Maritimes are just shooting out with some talent, and there's so many talent that I've never heard of, and they send me the videos, and it's like, oh my God, like the talent this year. To be honest with you, there's 34 talent this year, and I guarantee you, out of the 34 talent that we have this year, I would say there's about 20 that could go in AEW or WWE right now. They just haven't been seen, or they haven't been at the right place at the right time, or they don't know the right people, and it's amazing, the talent. When we had to choose this year, out of the 80 inscriptions, it was like, oh my God, we were not even halfway through, and I was saying, I got to get rid of this guy. I can't believe it. I got to, and it was like, so if you go on wrestling-academy.ca, wrestling-academy.ca, you can see all the talent, and you have all the inscriptions, the one that are chosen, plus you have a picture of them, and you have also, if you click on their picture, you have a video of 45 seconds with their best moves and their promo and that they're doing for the inscription, and you'll see the talent. They could easily be professional wrestlers around the world today.
So you do have a relationship with AEW. It's just as far as maybe you're getting them seen or getting them tryouts.
Yeah, I had it. I do. I had it more when QT Marshall was more active, and now. So we had it for the first 2 years where our winners were going for 3 months to be trained by Cody Rhodes, Billy Gunn, and QT Marshall, and this year we went completely otherwise. Since QT had lost his position in AEW, he's the guy I was dealing with. So I turned around and I said, okay, let's try Japan, and because if you go, as a professional wrestler, John, in my younger days, there was 2 criterias that were absolutely amazing for your repertoire. If you had a chance to go wrestle in in Japan, then you really knew how tough wrestling could be. Because in Japan, it's tough. If you make it to Japan, you can make it anywhere. And then Mexico. I thought of Mexico because Mexico is the only place on the globe where they don't work with the left arm. They work with the right arm. So it's like we're always used internationally to grab the left arm, work with the left arm, and now you go to Mexico, it's the right hand, it's the right side, the left side, they're ambidex. So it's like so when you have that in your repertoire, you have Japan and Mexico, and you're a winner of Wrestling Academy, then you have a really, really good chance to be picked because of thanks to you again, your podcast today. But I've been doing about I'd say I did about 45 podcasts around the globe right now, all the way to Australia, to Europe, to everywhere. So I'm giving visibility to all the Canadian talent, and I think it's a great opportunity.
What about WWE? Any sort of relationship, or maybe you want a relationship with WWE, or no?
Oh yeah, I'm open to all that, but it was very hard with Vince McMahon. I had a falling out with for like 30 years, and really a big falling out. So there was a big X on that, and but now that he's not there anymore, I think that they're hearing more about me now, more and more. I know a lot of the talent says that they have connections and contacts with them. I don't personally yet. But yeah, I think that would be a great opportunity for WWE to explore the Canadian talent, because, like you said before, there's amazing talent from BC, Alberta, from all over Canada that haven't been seen, and I think that they should go ahead and hopefully they'll acknowledge one day that this tournament is the biggest wrestling tournament around the globe right now. To put this tournament together, it costs $100,000, and we're finding the sponsors investing. We got $40,000 in prizes. We got another $10,000 for plane tickets and giving the right people the money to go to Japan, and same thing for Mexico. Then we got the hotels. Then we got the airfares. We got about I figure we got about $25,000 of airfares, just that we're flying everybody into Canada. So if we have approximately $95,000 or $100,000 to put together, there's nothing like this around the world. And to have these Canadian talent that are, let's say the truth, they work on the weekends, or sometimes they have 10-day tours and stuff like that. When they make a couple of $100 a night, then they're very happy. And some work for $100 and some work for free. And some so when they have a chance to make $10,000, you could go far with $10,000. You could buy some gear, you could buy some. There's a lot of things you can do with $10,000. You could buy a kitchen. But anyway, all that to say that when you win a prize, you're used to making $200 a night, and you have a chance to make $10,000 plus all the visibility around the world. I think this is an amazing contest, and I consider this the biggest contest around the globe right now. So with all the podcasts, like I said, I'm doing, and the visibility they have, I think that hopefully WWE will one day give me a call or something and say, hey, Jacques, you want to work with us, to recruit. Like in the National Hockey League, they have old players that go in the different arenas across the world, North America, and they go to junior leagues, and they spot some good players. Well, that's what I'm doing now. I'm getting the best talent out of Canada all together, and it's just amazing. And I need to talk to you about this contest, the judges. It's amazing this year because as you know, I put the talent on Zoom from East Coast to West Coast. I put 2 talent together, or 4 after a tag team, and we flip a coin to see who's going to win the match, because that's not important. It's not a criteria in the choosing who wins or who loses. It's more like based on the ability, the charisma, the interview before the match, the gear, the interaction with the people. So they're all judged by these criteria. So I put them on Zoom. And about a month before their show in Montreal, starting on the 28th of September, I put them on Zoom, and then I helped them put a match together. And then when both parties are satisfied, they like the match tremendously, that's a big step done, but it's only a step, because when they come to Montreal on the 28th of September, then they go into the ring, then they perform. And then there's a lot of things that come together. The pressure. Because there's a lot of pressure, because even though they have the match by heart, the match is they do their 10-12 minute match, then the match finishes, and then they stand in the middle of the ring and then they got the judges who judge them, and the judges this year is absolutely amazing. I have I'm going to talk to you about my brother Raymond, who's the mayor of his city, Raymond Rougeau, who's got, my God, it needs no introduction. Fabulous Rougeau Brothers and his whole career. I think he must have done about 25 years of wrestling, and in the good years where the talent was awesome, and then you got Gino Brito. Gino Brito, I don't know if you ever heard of him, but
of
Gino
course,
Brito,
yeah.
well, yeah. So Gino Brito, he's an icon in Montreal. He worked all North America and with Dominic DeNucci, Tony Parisi, and Dino Bravo, and it was the Italian connection. Gino Brito knows his business, and so he's going to be a great judge because he's the old-time wrestling. So he's going to be able to judge more on the ability in the ring and telling a story and seeing if they could win his heart. And then you have a guy called Tony Gattilio, who's an entertainer. He's been an entertainer for 30 years. He actually sings like Elvis, but anyway, he entertains around the world. So knowing how to entertain, he's going to be able to see the charisma on the other side of how they project the interaction with the crowd. And he was a student of Gino Brito about 40 years ago. So he knows the business. But my fourth guest this year, for me, is the most interesting. Because for the last 3 years, I've been knocking on everybody's door trying to get this project on TV. And now finally, I got the biggest production company in Quebec called Entourage. And it's the biggest one. If you go on the website and see Entourage, you'll see that these guys, they make the big shows at the Bell Center. They have the biggest artists in Quebec. So they're the biggest production company. So him being a judge, he's going to have to come by the ring, see the matches, judge, but also live the emotions of the winners and the losers. Because you remember now, it's been 10 months since people have been waiting for this contest. They've already been chosen like 8-10 months ago. So the anticipation is wild. So when they get in the ring and finally when the decision comes in by the judges, then you'll see some people fall down to their knees, but for different reasons. Some are going to fall down to their knees because they're sad and they're going to cry. Last year we had a couple that cried in the ring, and then you're going to see them fall down to their knees because they're happy. They can't believe they're going to the semifinals. So there's only 3 steps: it's quarterfinals, semifinals, and the finals. So to have Eric Young, the boss of Entourage, the production company, who's going to be there and he's going to live the emotions of this reality show, which I call it kind of a reality show because the whole show is put together. We all know it's all choreographed, but the decision is not. And you're only as good as your last match. In other words, you could have a guy that's been wrestling for 20 years. You could have a guy that's been wrestling for 3 years. But you're only as good as your last match. What I'm saying is, like, I remember some nights, there's 3 kinds of nights you could have in wrestling. You could have a good night, a bad night, or you could just have an extraordinary night. So if the 3-year veteran, only 3 years has been working, has an extraordinary night, and the old guy who's been wrestling for 10, 15, 20 years has a bad night, then although he's favorite or he has more experience, he may be eliminated. So, and it's going to happen right in front of 527 people that are live at the show every time. And another thing you got to keep in mind too is the judges are looking at the match, they're judging the match, but you have 525 people behind you that are not blind. So, so whoever comes across best is going to go on in the competition. So that's where the real fun is about this competition.
When you look at it with Raymond, that's awesome because obviously the Fabulous Rougeaus, great tag team. He's got a boatload of knowledge and everything else. But I just love that the Rougeau brothers are back. You know what I mean? That's great.
Yeah. We had a couple of years there, quite a long time falling out there. And so now we've been working together for about 2 years now. He's joined. I invited him last year for Wrestling Academy, and we patched up things. It happens in every family. And then so finally it's amazing. We're back together. We're doing things together. And it all started at a Comic-Con where we're sitting one beside each other. Yeah. And, it was like, some fans kept bringing back some good memories and some good stuff. And we turned at each other, looked and laughed together. And next thing you know, we're talking. Next thing you know it's like it never happened. And so it's amazing now. And just as a matter of fact, now we're going to Charlotte on this Friday coming up on the 3rd of August we're going for the gathering, the 3rd and the 4th, and just called me before, and then he told me, he says, "Hey, I'm picking you up in the morning, going to the airport." So that's amazing. It's like I just wish my dad would have seen it, because my dad's been gone for 4 or 5 years now, but it's amazing to be back with Raymond now. And you know what? You could say what you want. Raymond had something, like I said, about 20 years of experience in the ring, just in the ring, and I had about 40 experience in the ring, so together we got 60 years of experience, and being with the best, working with the best. So the talents better be on the. They better be on their how can I say that? We have in French we say "sont 36," but I don't know how you say it in English. But they better be on the ball, because
Right.
because not last year, to give you an example, it was amazing. There was a guy that was not as I didn't choose him, and my brother Raymond chose that guy, and he made the difference in the judging, and he made the other guy win. And when he explained, I loved his explanation, because the guy, he went up and he picked his opponent and sat him up on the top rope, and then he went to go up on the second rope to give him a superplex. But when he went to give him the superplex, his foot fell. And when he did, the guy took a second. He gave the guy a shot in the stomach, and he looked at the crowd. He says, "What?" And then he grabbed him again, and he did it. He covered up his mistake by staying in character. And that, it blew my brother away. So because, sometimes when we were in front of 20,000, 25,000 people, it happens that, you miss a spot or something, but you got to learn how to cover up. And that's an important part in the business, not to get out of character. And that seduced my brother Raymond. And that's why the guy went on to the semifinals. So we do have a lot of knowledge together. It's amazing. And the other two, well, they're like I said, one's an entertainer and the other one's a producer. So we're gonna have all kinds of aspect of different people, different judging for different reasons. And Gino Brito, what more than say to Gino Brito? He's got it all. So it's gonna be an amazing contest. I know right now I'm getting a lot of nervous messages, like, "Hey Jacques, is my flight booked there? Hey Jacques, is everything okay? Hey Jacques, is..." So it's like the talent are really like, yeah. Hey Jacques, when are we going to talk on Zoom for the match? And we're still 2 months away. So I see the excitement. Also, I ask the talent all the time. I said, "Could you produce me with an interview? Just send me an interview to update and put some how can I say that? There's some to make it interesting there, So
Yep.
send me up an update on the interviews, and right there, right then, boom, they said the talents. They send me a new promo, and they're talking everything about. And another thing too that's amazing this year, when you talk about getting bigger and better, it's not only on the talent and the caliber, it's also on the venue. The first 2 years we were at the Club Soda in Montreal. Where at 9 o'clock in the morning, the day of the show, my girlfriend and I, we'd go in the basement of the building and we'd pull out these folding chairs and we put up the folding chairs, and it was a lot of work. And this year we're at Leonardo da Vinci, and that's the big Italian community where Bocelli goes to sing for the people. It's like a big theater, and the seats are about this thick. It's all cushioned up, and we don't have to get there at 9 in the morning. It's all set up. Or it's a big Place des Arts kind of place, like where you go in, and it's amazing. It's the best quality venue you could have for the Italian community, and the owner of the place, the director, he just heard so much about the project, and when I approached him, he kind of fell in love right away, and he was always a Rougeau fan. So I told him the kind of show I was bringing, where there was no sex, no drugs, no violence. There was no cussing. The girls are in the show for what they could do and not how they look. And it's like it touched him. He said, "Well, he says, if it's a first class show like that, Jacques, you could bring your show." And so now we're looking at a venue, instead of having 300 people like last year. And the first 2 years we had 527 people in a beautiful venue. And with the first class kind of crowd that's going to be there. So it's amazing.
When you look at like what you're doing now, and you mentioned like the guy stayed in character, and he didn't fall for like the trap of today, where they have a lot of like memorized spots, so they kind of go back to it. It's almost robotic. Is that something that you kind of like preach with the guys? Just stay in the character. It doesn't matter if you screw up. You just kind of keep going. Because I've seen spots today where they screw it up. They literally rewind and they do it again. You're like, you know what I mean? It's frustrating.
Well, John, first of all, I'm guilty of something here. I haven't watched wrestling in 30 years. I have never watched not one show.
Wow.
So I just get bits of pieces of people telling me how it is today. It's like it's everybody looks alike. The characters are not different. Like in our days when you had Hacksaw Jim Duggan, you had Coco Beware, you had Jake the Snake, you had King Kong Bundy, you had Macho Man, you had different styles, and you had Demolition, you had the Bulldogs, you had the Rougeaus, you had the Killer Bees, everybody was different. Everybody had some personality. And a lot of people tell me over the years, the people that I talk about wrestling, it's like they all look the same. They all and like you said, I remember talking to Bret. I went to a Comic-Con about 10 years ago. I was with Bret and Sean, and then we went to a Comic-Con overseas in Europe, and Bret was telling me, "Oh, Jacques, you're not missing anything, man. I go to do a promo or something. They give me a sheet. I gotta read. I gotta memorize the whole sheet before doing my promo. It's like it's not me anymore. It's like I'm saying what they want me to say." And so I think that they've lost the personality, and I think that everybody's telling me that I can know also because when the guys weren't putting the match together, they're going so fast. The guy who received the drop kick, he's standing up before the guy who gave it. So it makes no sense. So when I get the guys together, I have so much fun in saying, whoa, wait a minute, guys. Hey, wait a minute. You stay down. You'll have your chance later, but you stay down now, and you got to go to the ropes, and you got to talk to your fans. You could tell them something like, how about that, huh? And you don't have to cuss. You don't have to swear. You could look at somebody in the old heat, the cheap heat about, you fat so or this or that. That doesn't exist in my company. You say something intelligent. Say, wouldn't you like to be in my spot right now? And you could get as much heat if you have a good character and good facial expression, while the heel at the time or the baby face, vice versa, is selling what you did. So I'm the old school where I said, hey, less is more, guys. Less is more. Like do a little less, but more facial expression, more interaction with the people. And people get into the stories much more than when it's so fast. It's not an Olympics or it's not the acrobatics, the ones who does the best move. It's storytelling, it's personalities. And I think that I helped the kids a lot with that. I also, I could tell you in the last 3 years, I've had, to be honest with you, out of the 40, 60, I'm going to say about out of the 100 talent that I've had so far, to be honest with you, if I shoot straight, I've had at least 8 of the 100 that came and told me, say, Jacques, thank you so much. This is the best match I've had. I like the fact that you're slowing us down, that you're giving us character. So you're gonna say it's only 8 out of 100, but the show, everybody loves the show. I had people go to the show, which I'm not gonna. I don't know if I should tell you this, but anyway, I get some important people that went to see the AEW and WWE, and they called me up the next day to say, Jacques, I brought my son to watch the show, a taping or something like that, and he says I want to go back to Wrestling Academy. I like it better, So it's like, but they got to understand it's TV taping, so it's longer, it's different, and they have a lot of people that are trying out and stuff like that. But in our show, it's all the best talent from Canada. And another thing you got to remember too, when the guys are on tour, the guys go from city to city. It's a job for them. These guys in my tournament, they have a one chance deal. So when they come, it's not like okay, I know my routine, and we know what we're gonna do, and it's all saturated. They know what they're gonna do. And first takes are always better than all the other takes, even in a promo. So they're coming in giving 100%, 110% of energy, everything they got for that night, compared to the guys when they're on the road a lot. They just do the same match or do something that they've been doing with less intensity than in a Wrestling Academy. So that makes a difference. So when you come and see a tournament, which is a reality show like mine, then you're gonna see some extraordinary things that because they're gonna risk a lot. they're going, because they're putting it all on the line.
Now, you mentioned Bret Hart, seeing Bret Hart. What was the relationship like back then? What did you think about him in the ring? And obviously, you won the Intercontinental title from him back in 1992 as the Mountie. What did you think about the Hitman?
What can I say about Bret? You know, Bret, I wrestled 4 years with him in a row. I wrestled, I did more than that, but for 4 years in a row, we were the Rougeau brothers. He was the Hart Foundation with Jimmy Hart. And then we switched heels as the Fabulous Rougeau Brothers. He became the baby face as the Hart Foundation. And we wrestled another 2 years with them around the world. So we did 4 years of Bret. And then I wrestled as the Mountie. I wrestled him in a couple of angles here and there for the Intercontinental title and other angles. So I wrestled Bret, I must say, about... in my 11 years in the WWF, WWE, I must have wrestled Bret for 5 years. You know, so what a great worker. Just amazing. And you're talking guys like Shawn Michaels, Marty Jannetty, Tito Santana. You're talking the guys that the big boss man, guys that you go in the ring and it's everything's so, you're so sure of everything. You know, the guys are gonna do maneuvers with you, and they're going to make sure that they protect you before they protect themselves. And that's what I was teaching at my school for 20-some years. It was always, if you pick a guy up and you lose your balance, you make sure that the guy lands straight and you fall crooked because he gave you his body. So you make sure that you take care of it before you take care of yours. You take care of his. And, you know, so when you work with guys that had that same kind of philosophy in the business, then it makes it so fun to go. This weekend, it's so funny because I'm going to meet with I think it's which one is the Von Erich that's left there? The Kevin Von Erich but Marty Jannetty is going to be there, and Jesus, you know, so much fun. We had some marathon matches, some 1 hour matches. We had the Rockers with the Rougeaus, the Fabulous Rougeau Brothers. So guys like that, you know, I don't know if you ever knew a guy called Bobby Eaton.
Oh, of course, beautiful Bobby.
Yeah, beautiful Bobby. God. What a pleasure to work with a guy like that. You know, it's just, those are guys that made wrestling amazing. If you had a chance to have some runs and some storylines with them and work with them for a while, it's just, those guys are professionals.
Would you say the Intercontinental title win was like the big career highlight, just as far as your career as an individual for the Mountie?
No. I was just a stepping stone for Bret that didn't want to give the belt to Rowdy Piper. So it was like a switch. My highlights, to be honest with you, if I go back, is, you know, I enjoyed tremendously the heel turn with Jimmy Hart and the Fabulous Rougeau Brothers. I enjoyed tremendously the Mountie. The Mountie was amazing with Big Boss Man, the jailhouse match at the Madison Square Gardens, where that was seen around the world on pay-per-view, and it was just an amazing build-up. But my most iconic moment in Montreal when I beat Hulk Hogan, that was definitely my most iconic for me, as far as my status or my my notoriety around the world, everywhere I go. You know, it's like, if people don't know it, I make sure I mention it. You know, because there's only a handful of people that I'll put over in the middle, and especially it wasn't with a gimmick or nothing. It was a 1, 2, 3 pin right in the middle with a small package. So Hulk really had a lot of respect for me. And then up till today, now we still talk, and I go to his when I go to Clearwater, I go to his what's it called there? He's got a singing thing.
Hogan's Hangout.
Hogan's Hangout. You know, I even went to sing last year, and it was fun. So Hulk for me is the biggest icon I've ever crossed in my career. The Rock came after that, but as far as I always said to everybody, you know, you could have the most beautiful house on the hill, but if you don't have a good foundation, then your house is going to crumble. And Hulk Hogan is a foundation of how popular wrestling has become over the years, and I had a chance to work with him, and he's just an amazing man.
Were you ever shocked, like when he actually says, "Okay, I'll lose here," just because, you know, it's Hogan? You never know. Sometimes he doesn't want to lose, and obviously, if you look back, I mean, he didn't lose cleanly to too many guys.
No, he kind of surprised me. It was like my show in Montreal. I had booked WCW for the first time in Quebec, and then but my condition was I work with Hulk, and I don't want to get into it now, but it was a couple of years, not long after I had my altercation with the Bulldog, and I came out of that, thank God, and Hulk just grew a lot of respect for me, and in different ways. And as far as even opening his shows over the 10 years I was in the WWF, we did such a good job to open shows for him and do good matches for him. And I always say for him because he was the one who drew all the people and in the main event. And when he came to Montreal, it was so funny because all the guys were there, like Flair, Mongo McMichaels. It was Harlem Heat. There was so much talent from the Eddie Guerrero, Dean Malenko. I could go on, and they're all sitting in the dressing room. And then Hulk out of nowhere gets up. He says, "Okay, boss, what are we doing tonight?" And I was looking. He's looking at me when he's saying that, And then he says, "Well, Jacques says, what are we doing?" He said, "How are you beating me tonight?" And when he said that, I started laughing so hard, out of character. I mean, I really started laughing. I said, that's funny. That's really funny. And he looked at me. He was very serious. He says, "I'm serious, brother." He says, "It's your show tonight." And he says, "You're going over." And I said, "Okay, very funny." I said, "What do you want to do, Hulk? What do you want to do?" He says, "I'm serious, brother." He says, "What do you want to do?" And then you could start hearing the quietness in the dressing room. Like everybody's like, they were wondering if it was a rib, if it was a joke or something, And then finally, I was so embarrassed. I was embarrassed. I didn't want. I almost. I don't know how to say it, but I not that only that I couldn't believe it, but I didn't believe it, and I was waiting for him to just rib me back or something. And finally, when I see he wasn't letting go, I said, "Well," "why don't you just beat me up and kill me, and then at the end I'll just small package you then out of desperation, And he says, "Well, let's do that." And I get him in the ring, and he made me look so good during the match, and he got up a great steam of heat. And at the very end, he had me laying in the middle. He dropped 2 legs on me, and he picked my hair back up. I had some at the time. He picked me up by the hair, and he stopped the count from 3, and he was like, one more, and then he went to pick me up, and I small packaged him. And you saw 20,000 people in the Molson Center just go like they couldn't believe it. So I even after that, just I don't know, out of respect or whatever, I rolled out of the ring after my small package. I didn't stay to celebrate. I left him in the ring, kicking the ropes, and like he was upset. And I just left. I went to the dressing room. I couldn't believe it. I just let him have the whole spotlight. And I'll never forget that night because I was in my hometown. But I don't make too many mistakes like this in the business. I don't. But I made a huge mistake. Is maybe my ego or whatever, my self-esteem was a little too high. But when I went out with the Quebec flag and the Canadian flag, I would say 99% of the people were booing me in my hometown. And when he came out with NWO and it was NWO, it was big time. And so it was like the Giant was there, Diesel was there, I think. And anyway, it was a big time, and he was right in the prime of his NWO, and you should have seen the people how they acclaimed him, like even as a heel, he was a heel, and he came out, and it just blew my mind. I was shivering inside. I was so embarrassed. So many things happened, that I miscalculated. Thought I was going to be a babyface in my hometown. Forget it. And he's just and then at the end. But I worked so hard during the match. It was great because, I didn't cheat. He was cheating. He was so much bigger than me and cheating. And I was fighting back. And I finally got at the end when I got the pin. If you could go on YouTube and see the match. Jacques Rougeau versus Hulk Hogan. It's on YouTube. And you'll see that at the end, I got I'd say about 65, 70% of the people cheering me at the end. When I win the match. So I made a transition from 1% to 70%.
Yes.
But that's but we live and learn every day in the business, and I knew how big he was. But I gained so much more respect. To think in my hometown, I'm nobody. When Hulk Hogan steps in, it's like you're Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, he's super over in Canada. We know that he's just another beast in Canada for sure.
He's over with Donald Trump too. I saw last week.
Yes, that was great. That was funny. What's interesting? You mentioned Hogan's Hangout, and you mentioned singing and doing some karaoke. Did you sing the greatest theme song of all time, the Fabulous Rougeaus theme song?
No. Oh. I actually sang Jailhouse Rock, but
there you go.
But that was fun. But where I got that from is I had the chance to be in the Masked Singer up in Canada, and so I did the Masked Singer. I was a lobster, and I did pretty well. I actually sang 4 songs before I got eliminated. There was like 20 people when they started under the masks and everything, the costumes. I went all the way down to 8, and I always loved singing. I always loved music, and so it was a great experience. So when I went down there to hang out, I knew the words by heart, and I said I did a pretty good appearance on TV up here, So I said, hey, I'm going to use that. So I know it won't look too bad. I just won't be the winner or nothing, but I won't look too bad. And people really got into it, Jailhouse Rock, So it was a great time. I promised myself, I promised my girlfriend, we'll go back this year again, and I'm going to sing again, because it's. I love singing. I love entertaining, and I think entertaining has been in me since I was a kid. So I'm never going to lose that part of me. I don't think so.
So when they asked you to do like your own theme song back then, obviously the Mountie and the Fabulous Rougeau, you had no problem. You thought that was great and funny, and you had no problem doing it.
It was so much fun, and especially doing the French lyrics there, laughing about the Americans in French and then telling them how much I love them in English. That was just absolutely so much fun. Even today I look back and I think of those theme songs, thanks to Jimmy Hart, who helped us put this together. It's just amazing. Jimmy Hart is such a great. So yeah, it's I didn't have any problem with that.
Did you like that heel turn? Did you like being the Fabulous Rougeau brothers?
I loved it. It was amazing. It was an amazing feeling. It was just it was a shocking moment when Vince asked us to do it. It was like me and Raymond looked at each other like, do we want to really do this? And then we realized that we were coming to end of our road as baby faces. There was not too much a venue left for us or a future left for us. So we said, hey, let's try it. And then when we started doing it, when he gave us the little American flags and and then the lyrics, the jokes to say on the promos and stuff like that, it was like wishing everybody a happy Independence Day when it was Thanksgiving, and mixing up the birthdays and the special days in America. It was amazing. It was really fun, because after that we were mocking the Americans, and we were having fun at it, because even when we were baby faces, so many times we'd go out and we'd work so hard to try and win the crowd over. And even if we'd win the crowd over, like I remember many times we'd go out as babyface, and people like 20-30% of the people would boo us, even if we were baby faces. They'd boo us, and we'd work so hard. And at the end of the match, we were always like 90%, 95% baby face. We'd win them over, but it was a battle, a constant battle every time. And so I held a few grudges inside of me, like I hated that, that they were prejudiced, against French Canadians. And so when we turned heel, boy, I said, now it's payback. It's like, yeah, now I'm gonna have some fun. And boy, did they hate me. They hate me and Raymond. They sure hated us.
How did Vince explain it to you? Because you're kind of pro USA, but it's very sarcastic. I guess you know what I mean. Like, hey, we're all American boys. We love the USA. Did he say that was actually going to get more heat? I guess for you guys.
Yeah, especially when you're wishing them a happy birthday on the wrong date there, and stuff like that, and having that little American flag, instead of a big one like Hacksaw Jim Duggan, that is proud. We were like, hey, you, and it was more like a mocking little flag, but yeah, so it's funny though, those songs like I Am the Mountie and I'm Handsome, I'm Brave and Strong, and We're All American Boys. Those songs, people up till now, I go to Comic Cons and they come up to me and they sing it to me. They remember the song 35 years later. They still remember those songs. They're actually iconic songs. I think they're in the top 10 of the wrestling songs that are popular in the WWF area. And so it's fun. I'm very proud of accomplishing that. And but I owe it all to Jimmy Hart, most of it to Jimmy Hart, and he's the man behind all this. Yeah.
What was the idea behind the Mountie gimmick? Obviously, you left and you came back. Vince basically said, like basically what? Like, hey, I want you to be the Mountie. Like, how did that go?
Yeah, yeah. I was on a year sabbatic, and he just Raymond took his retirement match in '89. He retired as the Fabulous Rougeau Brothers, and a year later, Vince called me up. He says, "Hey, Jacques, I got something for you." He says, "We got the big boss man in the United States, and he's going to be turning babyface as a county cop, and we're going to have this RCMP policeman come in. We'd like for you to incarn him." So he asked me to be the Mountie, and I said, "Hey, I was just happy to be back." And I said, "Okay." I said, "Two conditions. First condition," I said, "I get Jimmy Hart as my manager." And he says, "You got it." I said, "Okay." Second condition, I'm coming in with a shock stick. I said, "I want to have a shock stick." And he says, "You got it." So he came up with the idea, and I came up a little bit with the shock stick and Jimmy Hart, and together we just did amazing things with the Mountie.
Got over big time, or got hated big time, for sure.
I think so. I'm doing so many Comic Cons now around the world, and 8 or 9 times out of 10 they want the Mountie. So it's like the Quebecers never come up, just when we were three times tag team champions of the world, but the Mounties in demand tremendously, and then the Fabulous Rougeau Brothers second, and then the Quebecers third. But I was lucky. I had over the 11 years, I had 3 great characters that I personally think that all 3 got over. That people remember all 3 of them, and all 3 of them are in their encyclopedias, the books that they sell everywhere. So I was lucky. I had a very nice run in WWE and WWF.
What did you think when they have you do the lyrics to the Mountie song? Did you think like this is silly, or do you think this is going to get me a lot of heat? This is great.
It was Jimmy Hart as his lyrics, but I thought it was. I'm sure he had it approved by Vince, but it was amazing because just anybody who says he's handsome, brave, and strong is going to get some heat. But but then I always get my man, the Mountie. I get that lines. I have people ask me to sign pictures all the time now. The Mountie always gets his man, So the funniest thing about the Mountie, I'll be honest with you, I think I was 3 or 4 days champion, Intercontinental Champion. I can't remember the number of days, but every figurine I sign right now and every picture I sign right now, I got the Intercontinental belt on it. Like, it's just people remember me being the Intercontinental Champion, and so that was awesome. I guess in those days, the belt meant something. I think.
Yep.
I think that's what people tell me. They said in your days, even if I had only 4 days, and sometimes they make me laugh. They come up to me and they say, "Oh, Jacques, you're the greatest Intercontinental Champion." And I say, "Yeah, I beat Bret. He had 104 fever, and then I lost it 4 days later." I said, "I wouldn't consider myself the greatest Intercontinental Champion," but people don't remember that. They just so it's flattering.
Hey, as long as you get the picture, like you do, obviously with the belt, that's the most important thing that people love.
That was so funny because I got to tell you the story real fast. It's I knew I was going to have it for only like 2 or 3 nights, and so the night that I won it in Springfield, Massachusetts, I called this report in Montreal. It must be about 11 o'clock at night, but the poor man, he's about 65 years old, or so he's an older man, and he's a newspaper, one of the biggest newspapers in Montreal. And then he's in bed at 9 o'clock. So I called him at 11:30 maybe, and I said, Andre, I said, I just became, Andre, he says, Jacques, he says, I'm sleeping. I said, listen, Andre, I said, I just became the Intercontinental Champion. I said, that's amazing in WWE, WWF. And he says, listen, he says, I got to cover this. I can't remember what he had to cover for the next few days. He says, call me in a week. And I told him, I said, no. I can't call you in a week. I said, we gotta put the picture in the paper tomorrow or the next day because I'm gonna be losing it. He says, what? I said, yeah. I said, you can't go to bed now. I said, you gotta write the story tonight. And so he did it because he was kind of a friend of mine. But that was funny. I thought it was so funny. He says, you're waking me up. He says, call me in a few days from now. I said, no, I can't do that.
Yeah, I won't be champion a week from now.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm losing
Exactly.
it at the Rumble. Yeah, exactly. That's great. When you like look back, how come the Quebecers aren't as memorable as the Mountie? You know what I mean? Because you three-time tag team champion, you guys were all over the place on TV.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I don't know. I just think that maybe it's just my perception of it, because the Quebecers, they're known. People know my character and stuff like that with Carl, but it's just that the Mountie outshines it so much, and the Fabulous Rougeau Brothers for the older fans. Those two characters really touched the people more, I think. I think actually maybe because also that there was a new era. It was a it was an era where, like I was saying, I think the characters weren't so close to the fans or close to the people. I think they didn't have, like we say in French, this appartenance, like the belonging. Like every character we had when I was the Fabulous Rougeau Brothers, we belonged, like, within the people's mind. Like and the Mountie was there. Like you'd come out, my music would start, one note of it, and people knew it was me coming out of the curtain. And then and I think that. That the times were changing then when we became the Quebecers. Things were faster. Although we had a great run, great matches with Men on a Mission and 1, 2, 3 Kid, Marty Jannetty, and then the Steiners when we beat them, like Quebec Rules. Beating the Steiners was really impressive. It was something. But like I said, I think the other two characters just outshined that one.
It's funny, like looking back, because even you versus Carl PCO for your retirement match in '94 drew huge. So obviously, very over in Canada.
Yeah, well, the Rougeau name in Montreal, Quebec is like Gretzky in Ontario. It's like Bruno Sammartino in New York. It's like when you talk about you cross the border, you talk wrestling, the name Rougeau comes up. We're four generations of wrestlers, and my father Jacques and my uncle Johnny did so many good things, for the Rougeau name. It's amazing what they did, gentlemen and first class people, and close to the community, and so when you have like over you're talking about in the 75 years of professional wrestling with the Rougeaus. So you're touching a lot of generations. There's a lot of decades in there, and always main eventers. Like my father, my uncle were main eventers. Me and Raymond were main eventers. I was main eventer. So it was like you're always featured. And then so when you have 75 years of that, it's almost like McDonald's. When you talk about McDonald's, you talk about hamburger. Everybody knows McDonald's. Well, it's just about like that with the Rougeau family in Quebec, and so we were very fortunate. Also, I think it's a two-way street. I think the Rougeau name was tremendously popular, but the Rougeaus were tremendously available. If there was a charity event, if there was something, a hockey game for charity, a baseball game for charity, if there was a show on TV, a comedian show, if there was all kinds of talk shows, and they'd call us, we're there, we're there. We were always there, always available, and always close to our people. And I think just amazing now. I was so proud, like a couple of nights ago when Celine Dion sang in Paris. Celine Dion was so big. I remember when we were on the road, we were lonely many times, and we'd land in Japan or something, and ching chang chung chung, and it said Indian, and then oh my god, and then it was like, hey, that's bringing me back home. It's like so that was something very special, and but she was worldwide, so you're so us in Quebec, we had the same effect on people.
Are you amazed that PCO is still wrestling today? But not only still wrestling, still taking these crazy bumps. Like it's just remarkable. I know you haven't really seen much, but you've probably seen some videos and some clips that he's still going strong.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. He's like Gumby. I don't know if you're too young to know Gumby, but he
Oh
was
no,
like
I know Gumby. Yep, yep,
that green thing that you could bend all kinds, and then it comes back straight.
yep.
So he was amazing. That's one of the reasons why I asked Vince to let me bring him in as a Quebecers, because I saw the bumps he was taking, everything. I said, wow. I said, if I could put my knowledge with that guy who bumps like that, like holy mackerel, this guy. But I'm amazed that after all these years, he's still like he's like the Energizer bunny there. He just keeps on going. and I wish him nothing but the best. I hope that it won't catch up with him one day, because he's taking those very, very dangerous bumps, and you get a certain age up in the 50s there, when the hips are not as solid, and the lower back and the neck is not so solid. So I hope he's careful in what the decisions that he makes.
And if you look at it, he's a champion in TNA right now too. So he's still winning titles at his age, which is great.
Amazing, huh? Amazing. So Quebec should be proud. We got a lot of winners here in Quebec, and a lot of people that left their mark, and hopefully there'll be many more to come.
Now, as we wind it down here, we head towards the finish. Just give us a little recap on the Wrestling Academy, where we could find it. And of course, in September, what's going on with this huge reality show / tournament, the whole thing there.
Well, 28th of September, it starts at Leonardo da Vinci in Montreal. It's the biggest wrestling contest around the world, the biggest prizes anybody could win if they're not in the big leagues. And the whole competitors from Canada are coming from all over. You could go check out wrestling-academy.ca. There's going to be 4 amazing winners, 2 men, 2 women, that are going to win $10,000 each. And plus 1 week going to train in Japan for Kyushu Pro Wrestling, and then go in Bandito's gym and Big Lucha in Mexico for a week. All's paid for this tournament. And then you'll see the 4 judges that are going to judge these competitors after each event, and it's going to be so exciting to see the emotions in the air of the winners and the losers. And so it's very, very exciting. So 28th of September is the first quarterfinal. The 28th of September. The 26th of October is the second quarterfinal. And then the best of the 28th of September, they meet the best of the 26th of October on the 2nd of November. And then the best of the 2nd November, the last 8 they have there's going to 4 that are going to come out for the 16th of November, where they're going to be chosen, the 4 winners, the 2 ladies and the 2 men, to win these big prizes. And you can follow this on YouTube, on my website. It comes out about a week later after each event, because we edit everything and we make it look the best that we can. And so you can go on wrestling-academy.ca and then follow this. You'll see, and you could also go see the last 2 years. If you go on my website, wrestling-academy.ca, you'll see we're getting better and better every year, because we're only amateurs putting this together. So we learn experience, we get better and better, and but now it's getting really exciting, and we get the best talent around Canada from one end to the other. And so it's something to really see. If you like wrestling and you want to see wrestling for what it's for the good reasons. I mean, for the talent and for the charisma, for the ability in the ring, for the interaction, for all that, if you want to see some talent that one day you're probably going to see in the big leagues, and you're going to be able to say that, hey, I saw it in Jacques Rougeau's Wrestling Academy before they became big and famous. So go on wrestling-academy.ca and have fun with this. You'll see, you will anyway. If you're a wrestling fan, you'll have fun with this.
Now, before we let you go, I got to ask, though, what do you think is the legacy of the Rougeaus? Because obviously this is going to play a part in that, too, because it's going to be guys you trained, guys you kind of honed. What's the legacy of the Rougeaus? Not only the Rougeau brothers, but your dad, your uncle, and everybody, the whole generations of family.
Well, John, I'm going to tell you something. I wasn't going to mention anything. I can't go in details, but in 1 month from now, on the 28th of August, something amazing is happening to me with the Rougeau name in Quebec. And so that'll answer the question about the legacy and all that. You're going to be seeing something absolutely amazing. I'm having my press conference on the 28th of August, and you will be very, very surprised to see what's coming out of that. So keep following me, and the fans will be very, very intrigued to see, but I think they're going to be very, very happy for the Rougeau family.
I love it. Now, where can everybody find you individually? Where are you at social media?
Facebook. I'm just on Facebook. Go see Jacques Rougeau on Facebook. You'll see me and my girlfriend, who's my rock. She helps me with Wrestling Academy since the start. She is my better half. So if you go see a picture of me and Natalie, and on Facebook, every day I post things from my personal life to Wrestling Academy to my events that I go to, Comic Cons. and everything I do. My podcast, actually, I'm going to put your podcast on there too when you send it to me. I have a very, very big based fan club on my Facebook, and that's where I go pretty much.
Now, just as far as the Rougeau name, we'll definitely keep up with that to see what's going on the 28th for sure. Is there anywhere else though? It's just Facebook and for you. That's it.
Well, my girlfriend, she shoots me out a couple of places, but I'm like a dinosaur, so I think I'm on. I don't know if I'm Twitter. Am I on Twitter? Twitter? Am I? I'm Instagram, Twitter. My girlfriend,
you
she's
are?
really
Okay.
good at that, but
Nice.
I'm not. She is, but I'm not. But she gives me the scoops when people write to me or stuff like that. Me, it's Facebook. You can't go wrong. You go Facebook with a picture of me and Natalie, and I'll answer you. I always talk to my fans, and that's what the greatest thing about it is. People, they meet me sometimes. They say, "Hey, Jacques, it was so nice of you to answer me." Well, if you wrote to me, I'm going to take the time to answer you. Bottom line.
The greatest Intercontinental Champion of all time will write back to you. That's the key. Gotta love
funny.
that.
That's funny.
But Jacques, thank you so much for all time today. I really appreciate it. Of course, everybody's got to check out the Wrestling Academy, check out Jacques Rougeau on Facebook. But most importantly, they got to watch what's going on September 28th. And then, of course, got to keep your eye out for August 28th, too, now. And now you got me intrigued.
I'll be, and then if just one place you got to remember, you can go to my Facebook, obviously, but you go on wrestling-academy.ca. And you'll have everything there too, so you could catch up with the Wrestling Academy coming up. And oh yeah, I forgot to tell you, I'll give you last scoop. Amber Nova is going to come wrestle on the 28th of September. She's coming from the States for just a exhibition match against one of the lady wrestlers here. That because we had an uneven number because of an injury, so instead of so we put it in a bowl. We picked out the number, the girls out, and we picked one. The Chantal won the draw. So we're flying in Amber Nova just to pass her on to the semifinals. So if you ever have seen Amber Nova, and we got we're working also on I don't know if you know Giselle.
Shaw?
You know, yeah. So we're working
TNA.
on her. Yep. We're working on her to have her for the finals. For an exhibition match too. So we're implicating a lot of great talent around the world. So it's fun.
Awesome stuff. Jacques Rougeau, former WWF Intercontinental Champion, 3-time Tag Champion. Thank you so much for all time today. Really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.